happy winter solstice of 2023. Before I begin today's babble on, I would encourage everybody, especially those of my friends in the United States that have access to the internet, and it's pretty likely that you do because you're watching me right now, to go to a search engine and search for Democracy Now! Okay, it's a show that Constance and I watch every morning with Amy Goodman, and it's a news show. This is where we get headlines and things like that. This morning's show was particularly instructive and informative, and I seldom do this. I seldom tell you to go watch something. But while it's still fresh and while today's nightmarish headlines are still ringing in your ears, it's an especially good show. And one of the guests was a Lutheran minister of a Lutheran church in Bethlehem. And his segment, his talk, no matter how you feel about the situation, his talk and his perspective I believe, is important for all of us to hear. So please go to Democracy Now! And today's show is on a little video here. You can just click it. And I want very much for as many of you as possible to get this Lutheran minister's perspective on things. Today is the winter solstice, and we have just entered the sign of Capricorn. And the devil card among the tarot trumps is usually considered the Capricorn zodiacal trump, and usually the card that you see for the devil card has a devil sitting up or has a goat-headed Baphomet kind of thing. Do I have one around? I don't know if I've got one handy here, but a Baphomet. And looking all awesome, actually, and a bit scary, with solvate coagula tattooed on his arms. And there's two acolytes. Okay, in a way, it's like a parody of the Hierophant card, where we got the Pope seated on the Pope's throne, and we've got two acolytes, or two monks, got their heads shaved on the little beanie-like bare spot, and so the devil card has those two attendant elements in their in its thing, and it's a naked man and a naked woman, and and they've got little tails and little horns, but still both of them just really look hot. Okay, and I don't mean hell hot. They look really cool. But in the Hierophant card, the acolytes are facing the Pope. facing the Hierophant. But on the devil card, the acolytes, the naked man and woman with horns and little tails, are facing us, facing the viewer, facing out. Yeah, in a sense, it's sort of like at the Mass of the Gnostic Catholic Church, or the Gnostic Mass. After the congregation each take communion, take their little wine and eat their host, they turn to the, or at least they should, turn to the congregation as if to say, it's mine, and now I communicate it. I keep the circuit going. Okay, the acolytes in the Hierophant card are like stopping. Oh, you've got it. Oh God. Okay, here it is. Okay, whoa. It's like constipation. It's like a spiritual electricity constipation. They short circuit it by holding on to it there at the altar. But in Frida Harris's card, and I'm sure there's some out there, some earlier versions of her devil card, but I can't recall ever seeing them. And this is the only image that I really recall seeing in the Thoth Tarot. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that that is an overtly phallic symbol. Okay, that big, long, firm tree there, and the bowls, I guess, is what they call it. I suppose arborists have a specific term for those bulbous things, sort of at ground level, are just obviously testicles. Okay, there's no getting around it. It's just duh. Okay, and Crowley, of course, calls this the most masculine card in the entire deck. But look at the acolytes. Okay, now in like the Rider-Waite deck. Or the Waite-Smith deck. What am I saying? We've got the woman there in the left side, and we've got the man devil there in the right side. And here in each of those testicles, because it takes both kind of chromosomes, okay? And look at those lines there. There's like chromosome-y kind of suggestive of, and look at the very edges of each testicle. It looks like it is the whole process on the inside is like the beginning of a cell that's about to split. If you ever seen a microscopic view of a cell in the process of splitting, those little I don't know exactly what they're called, but little phenomena start to appear at each side, and they stretch out rays like that, and those rays eventually reach across to each other, and then join in the middle, and the cell starts to split and create nothing. It creates new nothing, and out of that nothing, and because of that nothing folding in on itself, the cell splits and becomes two more independent cells that go on to do that again. So all of that's kind of going on in these testicles. And look at the female side. Okay. They're not bothering each other. They're looking up at God. Okay, one of them is sort of lost in a ecstatic swoon kind of thing, but they're looking up, they're reaching up, they're literally praying. They're actively They're actively adoring the deity. And look at the male side. They're fighting each other. They're fighting to get to the top and get out of that and shoot themselves up there. Okay, they're very, very active. They're very aggressive, but the same cell splitting thing is starting. And if you look at the top figure there, okay, he is looking up. It's a profile. His head's in profile, and he's got one of those devilish Renaissance kind of Venetian pointy beard. Okay, and he's looking up, and he's got two horns himself. I may have to actually point. This is not going to work. Right there at the, give me a pointy thing. My God, my kingdom for a pointy thing. Let's see here. Okay, there's the devil's horns right up there. And there's his pointy beard right there. That guy's going to make it. Reminds me of the Woody Allen movie where sperm cells are getting ready to ejaculate, and they're fighting for a better position, and only to find that the guy's wearing a condom. But I digress. In a little thing called the Atu, the mnemonics, for Capricorn, and the Oyen, because it's the Hebrew letter Oyen, which means an eye. It says, Eo Pan, upon the summits the goat god leaps in wild lust of ecstasy afloat. Eo Pan, upon the summits the goat god leaps in wild lust of ecstasy afloat. Okay. Here's what Crowley says in the Book of Thoth about the Devil card. And let me make sure I've got it here someplace. I sort of lost my place when I digressed about sperm cells. But I often do that, don't I? The Devil. This card is attributed to the letter Oyen, which means an eye. And it refers to Capricornus in the zodiac. In the dark ages of Christianity, it was completely misunderstood. Eliphas Levi studied it very deeply because of its connection with ceremonial magic, his favorite subject. And he redrew it, identifying it with Baphomet, the ass-headed idol of the Knights of the Temple. Now, the Baphomet that we're all used to seeing, the pattern, was originally drawn by Eliphas Levi, or Levi, okay? So it's a relatively modern image, the one that's just sort of burned into us. Archetypal devil, that was Eliphas Levi, who died in 1875, the same year Aleister Crowley was born. And so he sort of, hey, I bet I've got memories of being wild and crazy in Paris. Maybe I'm Eliphas Levi. Okay. But at this time, okay, the time Levi drew that, but at this time, the ass-headed idol, but at this time, The archaeological research had not gone very far. The nature of Baphomet was not understood. See Atu 0, or Crowley's words about the fool that he said earlier. At least he succeeded in identifying the goat portrayed on the card with Pan. On the Tree of Life, Atu 13, that's the devil, that's death, and 15, the devil, are symmetrically placed. Okay, now I will try to show you. Okay. He's getting ready to tell you that right here, the path leading from the sun to number 8 and the sun to number 7, those two paths are Oyen, the devil card, or O, and Nun, the death card, right there. Nun. O-N. Okay, which in Egyptian, Heliopolis, the Egyptian city had the Greek name Heliopolis. It was the city of the sun, and the old Egyptian name for the town was On. So On. And there's an area right here. There's kind of two abysses on the Tree of Life. There's the proper full-blown abyss between the ideal and the actual. But there's a mini abyss, okay, that leads as the gateway to number 6. And this entire macrocosmic thing. It's a gateway to the throne room of the Holy Guardian Angel. And these are like the swinging door gates to that level of consciousness. O-N. O-N means the sun. Okay. Gate of the sun. As a matter of fact, Bab, B-A-B, the root B-A-B, means gate. Baba on. The gate, A-L means God. The gate to the God on. Bab, ball, on. So Crowley's getting ready to, this is my digression, sorry guys. Crowley's just getting ready to tell us about these two paths on the Tree of Life. So I know I didn't have to tell that to most of you, but I thought I'd throw it in. Okay, on the Tree of Life, Atu 13, death, and 15, devil, are symmetrically placed. They lead from Tifereth, the human consciousness, to the spheres in which thought on one hand and bliss on the other. Thought and bliss, that's our Netzach and Hod, 7 and 8, are developed. Between them, Atu 14, okay, 14 is that little one right there, that little short one that goes from 9 to 6. He's getting ready to talk about that one. That's the Sagittarius one. The art card, the temperance card, the arrow shooting up. Okay, where was I? Let's see. Between them, Atu 14 leads similarly to the sphere which formulates existence. Then he refers to a note on the Wheel of Fortune card. These three cards may therefore be summed up as a hieroglyph of the process by which idea manifests as form. The hieroglyph of the process by which idea manifests as form. This card represents creative energy in its most material form. In the zodiac, Capricornus occupies the zenith. It's the most exalted of the signs. It is the goat leaping with lust upon the summits of the earth. The sign is ruled by Saturn, who makes for selfhood and perpetuity. In this sign, Mars is exalted, showing it in its best form, the fiery material energy of creation. The card represents Pangenitor, the all-begetter. It is the tree of life as seen against the background of the exquisitely tenuous, complex, and fantastic forms of madness, the divine madness of spring already foreseen in the meditative madness of winter. For the sun turns northwards on entering this sign. The roots of the tree are made transparent in order to show the innumerable leapings of the sap. He's calling that the sap. Okay. Before it stands the Himalayan goat with the eye in the center of the forehead. I don't know about you, but I'm just a sucker for goat images. I love the goat commercials where the goat looks you in the eye looking all goofy and screams that dumb scream and they call him Carl or something. I love goats. They're just so sweet. I remember one afternoon in the golden age of hippiedom in the woods of southern Oregon where our hippie band, not musical band, but our hippie, we gypsies gathered together to burn sweet incense, that people just came walking out of the woods with these wonderful boxes, caskets of frankincense and resinous woods and gums. And for the first time, we smelled real frankincense. And there were children and there was music, and out of the woods came Himalayan goats, not Himalayan goats, but came goats. They just came, and we were laying on blankets and on the grass, and the goats just came. I got a thing with goats. Sorry, that was a digression. Of course, I've forgotten all about that moment. Okay, as a matter of fact, that's where idea became form in the eyes of that goat. Okay. His creative energy is veiled in the symbol of the wand of the chief adept, crowned with a winged globe and the twin serpents of Osiris, Horus and Osiris. Okay. There it is right there. And we could sort of even look at this as a Hod and Netzach. It's kind of shifted around in polarities there. And the path of Sagittarius going right up to the sun. Okay. Then Crowley has a poem here, just a verse of a poem, so don't get scared. Hear me, Lord of the stars. For I have worshipped ever with stains and sorrows and scars, with joyful, joyful endeavor. Hear me, O lily-white goat, crisp as a thicket of thorns, with a collar of gold for thy throat, and a scarlet bow for thy horns. The sign of Capricornus is rough, harsh, dark, even blind. The impulse to create takes no account, no reason, custom, or forethought. It is divinely unscrupulous, sublimely careless of result. Quote, thou hast no right but to do thy will. Do that, and no other shall say nay, for pure will, unassuaged of purpose, delivered from the lust of result, is every way perfect. That's from the Book of the Law, chapter 1, 42 and 42 to 44. It's further to be remarked that the trunk of the tree pierces the heavens. About it is indicated the ring of the body of Nuit. And here he spells it Nuith. Okay. Similarly, the shaft of the wand goes down indefinitely to the center of the earth. See, it goes down even below, and you see the wand even plunging down, 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 down. If, quote, if I lift up my head, I and my Nuit are one. If I droop down mine head and shoot forth the venom, then is rapture of the earth and I and the earth are one. That's the Book of the Law, chapter 2:26. The formula of this card is then the complete appreciation of all existing things. He rejoices in the rugged and the barren no less than the smooth and the fertile. All things equally exalt him. He represents the finding of ecstasy in every phenomenon, however naturally repugnant. He transcends all limitations. He is Pan. He is all. Yeah, I'm going to digress for a second because there's a modern group that's sort of socially politically active for the cause of religious freedom, freedom of religion and freedom from religion, and they've got funding from somewhere to have created wonderful, beautiful statues of the same image of Baphomet, with two children as acolytes, saying, well, you know, if you're going to put up other religious symbols in public places, we want this one up too, you know. We want this taught in school too, you know. And it's absolutely perfect because it's non-sectarian on steroids, okay? It is the all. It's everything. That Baphometic image is Pan, all. There ain't no two. What a wonderful image to potentially, on one level, bring everyone together, to bring everything together into a simple image. Okay, I digress. It's important to notice some other correspondences. The three vowel consonants of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, Yod, Oyen. These three letters form the name of God, E-A-O. These three Atu, okay, number 9, which is the hermit, and that's the Yod, And 0, that's the fool, that's the Aleph, and 15, which is Oyen, the devil, thus offer a threefold explanation of the male creative energy. But this card especially represents the masculine energy at its most masculine. Yeah, I think Frieda Harris did a pretty good job at that. Saturn is the ruler, is Set, the ass-headed god of the Egyptian deserts. He's the god of the south. The name refers to all gods containing these consonants, E-I-O. Shaitan, or Satan. Essentially, to the symbolism are its surrounding, barren places, especially high places. The cult of the mountain is an exact parallel. The Old Testament is full of attacks upon kings who celebrated and worshipped in high places. This, although Zion itself was a mountain. This feeling persisted even into the days of the witches' Sabbath, held if possible on a desolate summit, but if none were available, at least a wild spot contaminated by the artfulness of man. Note that Shabbatai, the sphere of Saturn, remember, that's another name of Bina on the Tree of Life. Shabbatai, the sphere of Saturn, is the Sabbath. Historically, the animus against witches pertains to the fear of the Jews, whose rites was supplanted by the Christian forms of magic, had become mysterious and terrible. Panic suggested that Christian children were stolen, sacrificed, and eaten. Yeah. This belief persists to this day. In every symbol of this card, there is an allusion to the highest things and most remote. Even the horns of the goat are spiral, to represent the movement of the all-pervading energy. Zoroaster defines God as having a spiral force. Compare the most recent, if less profound, writings of Einstein. Happy Capricorn. Remember I said yesterday the sun was getting ready to pass out of the card or a period represented by the 10 of Wands. Oppression. And today the sun dawned on the 2 of Discs. Harmonious change. And I guess my solstice wish for all of us is that you, each of you, receive the most profound harmonious change. I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday morning cartoons. Until then, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.